So welcome to another war game review from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Grant.
And today we're taking a look at Warfighter WWII Mediterranean from DVG, Dan Burson Games.
Didn't we just talk about Warfighter just like 10 minutes ago?
We did, but they didn't.
They didn't.
So,
Okay.
so World War II Mediterranean, Warfighter. Warfighter is a tactical card-based game that you can play solitaire or you can play co-op. And it is about, you have a squad of guys, very DVG, and you have a mission and you're moving through different location types, fighting enemies, and then there's some objective at the end you have to do or achieve within a certain time limit. So,
Or
fail.
Or you get killed.
Yes.
Right.
One of those two
Which
options.
happens.
Quite regularly.
From time to time.
If you play, that's the other good thing about this game. There's two different modes, right? You can play on the front line, which is kind of the normal mode. There's an elite mode for even more difficulty.
We always do the elite mode.
Always.
And I always ask myself after we do it, why did we do that?
Yes.
When every one of those enemies had 3 to 4 reticles and tons of special abilities.
And
I'm like,
really
why
high,
did we do that?
cover values.
Yeah, why did we do that to ourselves?
So yeah, we play Warfighter, especially World War II, a lot. I think it's fair to say that it is a staple of the Player's Aid and is a mainstay in both of our collections.
It's just, I think I said this previous, it's just unmitigated fun.
Yes.
The system's cool, it's very interesting, unique, it's fun, and it tells a different story every single game. Every time.
I agree with you. I think the narrative part of this game is really fun. Mechanically, it is not particularly complicated.
Nope.
This is a light beer and pretzels style war game that you can co-op. Like, this is an excellent solo game. I've played Warfighter a bunch solo.
It's better cooperatively, though, I think. Because I've played it solo as well.
Yeah.
I like the concept of talking it through, strategizing, discussing what we want to accomplish, what we can't do, some of the limitations, reminding each other. It's just, I think it's better cooperative.
Yes.
But that's my opinion.
Yes.
Many people are going to play this solo, and it is fantastic solo as well.
I think
I agree.
For me, they're on a par with each other.
Got it.
I think they're equally as good, but different experiences.
Yeah.
I also love that co-op aspect
Yep.
of it. We played Mediterranean co-op tonight.
Yep.
And probably we play Warfighter co-op the most, right?
Yes.
I think I've played this co-op with you more than I have soloed it alone.
I think I soloed Pacific 3 or 4 times. I soloed World War II, the first one, 2 or 3 times. I've yet to solo these, but I will.
But these are new, yeah.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the experience of us playing co-ops and working through the puzzles, figuring out our resources. We do that a lot in Gloomhaven, Frosthaven. That is a nice change of pace from what we normally do around here, and I appreciate that.
We're normally trying to beat each other's brains in.
Yes.
Here we're flipping that script and we're talking things through.
Yes.
And I enjoy that. It's just a different experience. I think I made the comment in the North Africa video. It's kind of what goes on in a fire team anyway. You've got a commander. He's going to make the ultimate decision. But some of his NCOs are kind of saying, well, Chief, we got this. And, remember, Samson's a really good shot. And this guy's panicky.
Even the 2 guys in a foxhole. One of them's got a field of fire over here. The other one's, and they're telling each other things and conversing. Oh, I'm out of ammo. Here, I toss you the ammo.
Yep.
You do that in this game.
You do.
You can drop ammo and pick it up within the same location. All of those little bits and pieces are in this game while still being a reasonably light card game. And I think as such, it's a really good entry point into wargaming. It could be for a lot of people.
Yep. And I would agree with that. This is not like other war games that we play.
No, not really.
It's very different, but it's good. It's a good different, right?
Agreed.
And anybody can pick this up, learn it. Anybody can enjoy it. And I think it's a great system because it's variable. There's a lot of differences. There's a lot of missions in just this one box. Then there's a whole bunch of expansions you can get that make you have more options and more alternatives. You can flip the script and play, like in Mediterranean. We played as the Italians.
Yes, that's
which is pretty unique.
Yeah, for the World War II core sets, this is the first one where you play as the baddies.
In the base game.
Yeah, this set right here, you play as the Italians against The
British.
The British, they're the hostiles. So that's not been done in any of the previous core
In
sets.
Pacific, you're the Americans playing against the Japanese
I think Europe is also Americans.
versus Germans. And there's expansion packs for the...
North Africa's British against Germans.
Yep. So it's very unique that you're playing the baddies,
They're the baddies.
in the base game,
Yeah.
right?
But-
and it's kind of cool.
Like you said, they make a couple of expansion packs, and in that you have, I think, Americans.
Yep, I think is one of them.
And then you have the Italians as the hostiles. And you
Yep.
just merge those into this game, use all the same cards,
Yep.
but you just flip and so you can go that way. And every of the other core sets has the reverse. So for Pacific, you can play as the Japanese and you can get the US hostiles
Yeah.
just as a little separate expansion.
Yeah.
And they all have that capability to them, but it just interesting out of the box that like you get,
Yeah.
I opened it, I thought it was Americans against Italians.
And I think I thought that too.
Don't know why, I just
Yeah.
thought that.
Well, and you can see on the board here,
Very Italian
the
themed.
Italian flag is right
Yes.
there. So,
But it made for a little bit of a refreshing change. Just the action deck of cards. They have the Italian.
Yep.
And then the English translation on them.
go, go, go is via, via, via.
They don't have that
It's
in
very,
any of the
very
other ones.
cool.
And you get new soldier types, all the new weapons and things like that you just couldn't get in any of the other sets.
Well, one of the options I could have used was a sword, right? That's very Italian. I think Japanese and Italians kind of had those. The plumed hats is kind of cool. Also, that's typically something we think of World War II.
For the Italians, yep.
But it's in there, and that was unique and interesting, and took it from a different perspective and gave me a different feel and a different experience, and that's great, especially in an established system.
Yes. This game was very enjoyable. If you've played World War II Warfighter, you'll be very familiar with the system, right?
Yeah.
It's
I don't think any of the basic rules changed. There's probably
No.
some new skills,
there's
but that's about it.
new soldiers,
New
a
weapons,
few
new
skills, new
equipment.
weapons.
Yep.
And then the big difference is that these new additions
Cover
have
everything.
the new rule books.
Yeah.
And this rule book is like 95 pages long.
Yep.
But it also covers like 3 whole theaters which aren't out yet.
Well, there's a Vietnam one right in the middle. That's going to be pretty
They-
awesome.
Because they did some Korea stuff, but it uses World
Right.
War II cards.
You're
pretty sure.
correct.
But
Yeah.
like Cold War, man, we're gonna get World War III in Germany.
Can't
and we're
wait.
gonna get Vietnam. I
Yeah.
guarantee it. Book it.
well, and there's a fantasy.
There's a fantasy. There's like a sci-fi near future one.
Yeah.
So the rule book is kind of intense. You will only use like hardly any of these pages.
While it is intense, I really feel like this game is very easy to pick up and learn. And then it's really kind of a rinse and repeat.
Yes.
Follow the sequence of play, which is printed right here on the board.
And then if a card has a keyword, you just look it up
Yep.
in the little keyword booklet, and that's what it does.
I think what you always need to remind yourself, though, is sometimes these cards change things.
Yes.
That they make another phase come first, or something else happen in between phases. So just like many other games, a card or something trumps the established rules, but it's all written right here on the board. The attack chart is right there on the board.
Sequence of play down
Sequence of play. It's all right here. So I
Which
think
is a hallmark of a playable good solo game.
Oh, no doubt.
I love it when it's all right here and I'm
and you
just
can
in
play
it
it.
immediately.
Yep.
Another thing that they added to both North Africa and
Which
this
was a really good addition to the
is
system.
it's a new counter sheet. Like
Yep.
all the other counters are the same. New counter sheet, and it has status markers.
Yep.
For when cover changes, hand-to-hand values, entrance costs, environment costs, and there's a set for you as the PCs as well. And that helps with all of these rule-breaking cards.
Yep.
Because you have a card that's like +2 entrance cost wherever this guy is. You're never going to remember that. It's
You
not
put it
gonna
on the board,
Yeah.
and you can see we have +5 entrance cost here.
Now I've got
which
to
was
count
ridiculous.
it on the location where my dude
Yep.
is. Or it's much harder to forget that. It's a really good mnemonic.
I
really enjoy
always
this.
feel like one of the things that I struggle with in solitaire games is those rules you're just supposed to remember.
Yes.
You have a +3 entrance cost when this unit's out. I'm not going to remember that. Now, invariably, I'll do my turn and I'll be like, oh, crap. I would not have been able to do that because I had this.
Yeah.
Now you put this little memory device out. You remember it.
It helps a lot.
Yep, we had them on our own cards. Like this guy had +1 movement for all his friends, and very good, I think, very good addition to the system.
And a very simple addition.
Yeah.
No extra rules, just extra useful components.
Everything else is the same. Ammo looks the same.
All the counters are identical.
Yep. Experience.
Yes, but you're getting this for the theme, for the new missions, the new objectives, the new cards, to be able to play as the Italians out of the box.
Yep.
And so that you can yell lots of Italian slogans and things like that whilst you play it, and have some Italian music playing in the background.
Well, and we did that. I would say the locations are probably the biggest thematic part. You know, we played North Africa earlier tonight. It had lots of deserts. Water sources really drew people, so you were going to get into more fights when you were there. Here in Italy, right, there were alpine crags and goat trails and
an aqueduct.
And a vineyard, and they all had different elements that made the game more challenging. And I just love that. I could see ourselves moving through the Italian countryside, defending our country, and that's great, right? These weren't really materially different than other sites, but slightly, right?
Yeah,
they each add their own flavor.
The effects that they bake into those have enough flavor where you're like, yep, I get it. I get it.
Yep.
And I appreciate that.
And you can read it and you're like, oh, okay, I understand why they're doing that.
The other thing
very cool
that I felt like I noticed about this set versus other ones is I felt like the Italian soldiers were on much more extremes of the spectrum. They were either really good or really bad.
Right. We had a couple that would cower if someone took a wound or...
But like, of the cards you get in the set, there's like 4 or 5 that have that trait.
Yeah.
As opposed to other sets, it's like
panic.
1.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, it's true.
But our really good soldiers were amazing.
Well, I thought...
They were very hardcore veterans, and like... So
you got extra cards.
I felt like there was a greater spread between the good and the bad, and not much in between. Which presented a different set of problems.
Yeah.
Of a couple good guys dragging along some real bad ones.
Yeah.
And I felt like some of the, I feel like, like the Pacific and the Marines, like, you could get a squad of pretty decent guys together.
Right. Even your support guys.
Yeah, like, they're not as good, but they're not, like, the worst.
It's pretty interesting. We had 2 of our main guys, and we had 2 support guys. What ended up happening?
They both got totally crushed.
The support guys were smoked. And
they did their job.
They did their job. They helped us. And I also felt bad because at one time, we were like, okay, we got to run forward because our only chance was to get into the last location, kill the things that were screening our objective, and then take out the objective. So we kind of had to push ahead, and we left one guy back, and he was getting trounced. And unfortunately, that's probably what happens sometimes in war.
But it put us... that was a great decision point.
It was.
How can we get this guy to come along? And it was the sadness of like, if I'd have had one more card, right?
Yep.
And so you get elements of tension, an element of storytelling from that. It's a moment. And then the one guy got totally snapped, and then the other guy panicked and was suppressed as a result of it. And so you see the knock-on consequences of good decisions. Yeah. That's a fantastic game.
It is.
That's a great narrative. That's a great
when it all works together. And I think my last comment about the gameplay, and this would apply to this system across all of the expansions, it came down to the last roll, right?
Yep.
We're about ready to get completely overrun. We had a Sherman firing at us.
I had 1 hit point left.
I had 1 hit point left. We had a Sherman lined up. What was the other thing?
There was a Daimler armored car. There was a priest, which wasn't really anything.
There was some artillery back that was still firing at us. And it's like I had to kill the sniper, and then I had 2 shots at the battalion commander that we were trying to take out. And it's like... I can't do anything because I don't really have anything, so I just got to fire.
We didn't have any XP. Nope. Because the guy with the XP died.
So I grabbed my 10-sider and my 6-sider, knowing that I had to roll a 6, or it was a 7.
Yeah, you needed
it was a 7 or higher, and then on my penetration dice, I needed a 3 or higher. And you know what? I'm like, let's do it. I rolled it, bam, 7 and a 3, right? We hit it. We had an exultant praise, And then I was like, you know what? I had one more action. Let's see what would have happened the next time. And what did I roll?
Exactly the same
A 7 and a 3. It was just, that'll never happen again.
No.
Absolutely never happen again. It'll never end that way again, because the system creates that opportunity for randomness, difference, variability. It's just very well done.
Yeah.
And if you like these kind of narrative-driven, pulpy style games, you're going to love this. Actually, at this point, I would hope every wargamer has tried Warfighter.
Yes.
One of the many iterations.
I will show you kind of how this works a little bit, and then we will wrap up with a few final thoughts. So here's a look at the board, and we'll just real quick go through some of the core concepts of this game. But basically, you can see the board is divided into these columns, and you will start with a mission, and on the mission you're going to have your little soldier counters. Here we have 1 and 4, and those correspond to your soldier cards that you have off map, which you cannot see, but here they are. This is soldier number 4, Bianchi, that's what his name is. And, well, I got another one up here as well. And so you keep off map your guy with his weapons and his abilities and his health tracker and all that. And just on the board, you're going to have your little counters that move through different terrain types as you progress through the mission to get to your objective. And the objective is placed here by the mission. Mission says put the objective in space 7, and you move through it, and you're racing against the time to get through everything, fight all these enemies as they come out, and then get to the objective, and the objective gives you specific directions of what you need to do to have completed said objective. So that's what you're trying to do in this game. And you'll have a bunch of different soldiers, and the player soldiers give you a hand of these action cards, and the action cards help to augment what you're trying to do by giving you bonuses or extra actions. Sometimes you find location cards so that you draw a location, and now you can, as one action, play this out. So that's how you progress. At the beginning of the game, none of these locations are here. You have to find locations and play them out and move into them. And there's a number of hostiles in there. And then when you do that, you pull hostiles out. And hostiles might pull events. And then an event triggers, and all this stuff piles on quickly and very rapidly. And you have to kind of deal with all of that. But as you progress through things, you're going to have guys pop up, and you're trying to defeat those. You have to do 2 hits to this guy, and if you do, you get 1 experience. And if you don't kill him, he's got this attack that he's going to do back to you. But that's what this game is. It is running through these different terrains, shooting guys, trying to kill or suppress them, get to your objective and do your thing. And all you need to do is complete the objective. So this isn't a game where you're trying to kind of conserve guys. There's a little bit of collateral damage in this one. This is a race to the end and do the thing. When you have to make attacks, you're going to roll dice based on what your weapon is. So this guy, for example, he's holding this carbine, and at range 0, so if it's in the same space, he has to roll a 6 plus on a 10-sided die, and he needs to hit a 4 for the cover roll. So every time you roll a d10, and you roll a d6 for the cover. So you roll the dice, hey, we hit the 4, and we rolled a 9. So we hit with the weapon, and we penetrated their cover. That means we kill one of the 2 kind of guys on this card, basically. That was one of my 2 actions that I typically have. Most soldiers have 2. Sometimes you can get 3 actions for being cool. That was one of my actions. What can I do with other actions? Well, I could move onto another card. I could try to shoot again. I could do all sorts of things. If you have a hand of cards, you can play action cards, which sometimes cost actions, sometimes they don't. We just saw that location card that we had. You could play that. That cost an action. You can do all sorts of things. If you have different pieces of equipment, you can throw smoke grenades. You've got an entrenching tool you can use, breaching charges, booby traps, all sorts of different extra things that you can do to kind of progress through things, destroy difficult enemies and objectives, or we could just take a good old-fashioned second shot. We'll try and shoot this guy again. Oh no. And here's what I like about this game is that there are layers of success or failure. So
Did you miss again?
Yes. So an 8 hits, according to this, but my 1 doesn't penetrate cover. So you have to succeed at both rolls to kill someone. If you fail at 1 roll, you only do a suppression to it. If you fail at both rolls, then you do nothing. But this guy is going to be suppressed, and one's ducking for cover and the other one's dead. So when it comes, we've done all of our soldier turns, we've used all of our actions. Once it comes to the enemy's turn, they're going to pull some reinforcements. This guy can't attack back because they're all occupied, taking cover, or being dead. To pull reinforcements, we look at this 1-2 roll over here. We pull a card. If this number is either a 1 or a 2, he joins the fight. Hey, he joins the fight. Guess what? We pull another event. Another event goes off. Ooh, this one's really good for us. That would be very nice. He would come and do a bombing run on all these guys. And then we pull from the cup a set of chits. Hey, this guy is going to attack and target number 1. This is going to attack and target number 4. He's not going to shoot. So you pull those from a cup, and that's going to give you their target priorities of what they're going to do. And now they're going to attack. He can't attack because both of his guys are suppressed, so he can't do anything. This guy's going to take a shot at number 1, and he's going to roll 1d10 and 1d6. And because he has all 3 of his 3 reticles available, he's going to roll on this left-hand column that's very, very good. So he's going to roll. Uh-oh. So a 6 is pretty much going to get through any penetration, but he only rolled a 3, and a 4 or less is a miss. If he rolled a 5 or more, we'd have taken a wound. Instead, because only one of the dice was successful, we take a suppression. Well, when it's back to our turn, before we can do anything, we have to spend one of our 2 actions to become unsuppressed. So it's not as bad as being wounded, but it's still very punitive. It's not very good.
Or there's a card that allows you to remove them.
Yes, and so that's where you get into this deck of cards, is that you can look, if you've got a hand of cards, some of these might have like a rally on it, which is going to enable you to remove a suppress for free. There are ones where it's like you can reload for free, because if you mess up this die roll when you're shooting, and let's say you rolled a 1, you look at your little reload chart here. If you roll a 1 or less, your ammo runs out, and you have to spend an action reloading, and you discard that. And whilst we've got a big old stack of ammo on this one, if you have poor rolls, or if you're using machine guns where you chuck 3d10, it's really, really easy to hit your reload values, and it's really easy to burn through your ammo, which can be very inopportune, because when you run out, at which point you're fighting unarmed, and that's very bad. But that's really the core of this game. Moving through, working together, trying to support each other by spending cards and experience, moving through these different terrains, shooting up the enemies, gaining experience, keeping it rolling, getting to the objective, and executing the objective to the best of your ability. Not the most serious of games, but a really great pulpy romp that's very beer and pretzels. But that's kind of how it works. What we'll do is we'll wrap up with a few final thoughts. So that was a look at the game. I always have fun playing this.
Always.
This was no exception to that.
Nope.
It was fun playing as the Italians, just seeing the different weapons and loadouts and the different things that you could get, and all the different new soldiers, and playing through. The Italian terrain was very Italian.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
To me, it felt different from something like from the European one.
Yeah.
Right? Even that was different enough.
As I mentioned, Alpine Crags, Goat Trail, Sun-Drenched Villa. I mean, those are very... an aqueduct, a provincial aqueduct.
Yeah.
Now, that was built by the Romans 2,000 years ago, but it's still there.
But what
it's
they
very
do is enough difference where I'm like, it was a blast playing this.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed this. We don't often play as the Axis forces.
Very
in this.
rarely.
I maybe have done it once, maybe.
I think we played the German, or maybe it was the Japanese and Pacific against the Americans with one of the expansions.
Yeah, we did one of them, but it was interesting to see that in a base game of what's available.
To have that switch.
And, the great thing is you can buy just the base game, and it's perfectly satisfying.
Well, there's 10 or 12 different missions.
And there's 10 or 12 different objectives.
Yep, so you're never going to have the same stuff. And then furthermore, you can go out and spend $40 or $50, buy 5 or 6 expansion packs, and you've quadrupled
Yeah.
the options you have just in that one set. And that's a very unique and interesting thing. Now, we're collectors. You and I both are.
Yeah, it's true.
We've bought a ton of these over the years, right? We both have lockers or ammo crates.
Yeah, the Foot Locker.
They're both packed. They have a lot of cards in them. Half of them I haven't touched. Half of them I have because we've played solo or each other. So if you're really into that and you want to invest a couple $100 and really get a system you can play and play and play and play, Warfighter's that system for you.
I've been playing this for probably about a week straight
Yeah,
now.
we got them about 2 weeks ago.
Maybe 2 weeks now. Yeah.
Yep, 2 weeks.
And I'm just looking at all the expansions that I've got, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play. Like I've got Raid on Saint Nazaire.
Yep.
Looks amazing. There's a Gurkhas expansion. You can play as or against the Gurkhas.
That's very unique.
There's some of the different battle packs are really interesting.
Yeah.
There's one where it's you play as the French against Vichy France in Jordan. I'm like, that's
unique.
That's cool.
Very
some
unique.
of the battle packs, like one of them gives you New Zealanders.
Yeah.
One of them gives you Canadians. And so like you get a lot of stuff that's different from those.
Yeah.
So if what you want isn't represented in the box, I guarantee there's an expansion that
find
does
it.
it. So just
And
know
then if you
that
want to play Nazi zombies or Japanese zombies, you have that too.
the zombies is so great for a Halloween game.
Is there a zombie pack for this? I didn't see one in what I had.
No, but you can just
probably-
use the Nazi zombies in this, and it's the same thing.
Fight them with the Italians.
Yes.
Or,
You can,
true.
because that's just an enemy, and you just give your guys.
It's fun.
But like,
it's good stuff.
That's great. The zombies expansion is so funny because you have like chaplains
Yeah.
with their holy powers
That's
and their
very
holy
cool.
hand grenades and holy
Yeah,
water.
it's pretty cool.
It's great.
The one complaint I think I have about this game, the components, the cards are very flimsy.
Sure.
They're going to wear. It's best if you sleeve them, but you got to spend $500 to get the sleeves to cover
Well,
them.
if I'm sleeving anything, it's only going to be the action cards.
Well, yeah, because you go through those
beat
every
those up.
single game.
Everything else is reasonable enough where
Sure.
you're not. It's not beating them like that.
I just wish they were thicker. But
I totally get what you're saying. Absolutely.
And that's a complaint I've heard. A lot of people complain that it's a little thin, but if that's the only thing I'm really upset about or bothered by, then this is a pretty dang good game. I mean, we've even got the custom dice here with the bullets on the 10. I mean, it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I love this system. Specifically, I love the World War II ones.
Yep.
I just have a great time playing them. And this is another one in that series, which offers something that's a little bit different from some of the other ones with what it offers in the box. And I just have a blast playing it. It's always going to get a recommendation from me.
Yep, me too.
Pick a box that you think is going to appeal to you and get that. But this was Warfighter World War II Mediterranean. Check this out if this is something that you're interested in. But appreciate you very much for tuning in. I've been Alexander for theplayersaid.com.
And I'm Grant.